So for those of you who didn't see my video explaining what the Amazon Associates program is and how it's going to work with this channel, let me do a brief recap on that for a moment. So Amazon has created a program called the Amazon Associates program that helps YouTube creators such as myself in a way to monetize our channel. Because as you probably know, YouTube has become stricter and stricter about what they want to monetize on YouTube for their platform. It's becoming very hard for YouTube creators to make money from their videos the way they used to, or to grow their channels with income the way that they used to. The reason why is they're saying it's not advertiser friendly. Point in case, when you report the subjects that mainstream media doesn't talk about, it's not advertiser friendly. So they won't monetize your videos. So if you do shopping on Amazon, if you make purchases, you go to the link below, you click on it, it takes you to Amazon just like you normally would go to Amazon. You can then search for whatever product it is you wanted to buy, and by making that purchase after clicking on the link, this channel will get a commission of that sale. And it is a great way to help support this channel and help us spread our message and grow this channel so that we can reach more and more people out there. So we thank you for your support, and we hope you enjoy the video. The other day, we were talking about Hillary Clinton's recent smear attack on Tulsi Gabbard. She's a Russian agent, Russian asset. Now, of course, Hillary didn't come out and outright name Tulsi Gabbard. It was, I believe the Russians are grooming a candidate because they have so many policies in line with each other, and they're positioning her to run third party. Now, Hillary hasn't still come out and admitted that it was Tulsi, but some of her people have said, well, if the shoe fits. So, yeah, we know who you're talking about. Definitely all the media attention went straight to Tulsi Gabbard. So, you know, where there's smoke, there's fire. Okay? Now, my prediction was that because Hillary Clinton didn't name Tulsi Gabbard, yet Tulsi Gabbard obviously responded, that there was going to be this accusation, oh, well, if it wasn't you, why'd you answer? If I didn't say your name, why would you respond? If you didn't think you were the guilty party by some chance. You know? And I mean, to be fair, those are valid points that you could make. So, that little line of attack hasn't come out yet, at least not from what I've seen. I'm still not taking it off the table. I still think that there is a possibility, if not Hillary, some of her people or some pundit out there is going to use that line of attack. But one other thing we mentioned in the video was just how in the Clintons' pockets the mainstream media are. Now, in the interest of fairness, I will say before I play the following clips, there have been people who have came to Tulsi's defense. Perhaps it's because they think the Clintons are old news, that there's a new face in the horizon, they're rallying behind Biden, I don't know. But take Van Jones over at CNN, for example. He gave Hillary Clinton a hard time over what her comments were regarding Tulsi Gabbard. But how about some other people? And not just on CNN, mind you. So what we're going to start with, what was said, break that down, just a recap on that. Then let's move on to some of the different responses to this whole thing. What did people on television, on the news, have to say about all this?
I'm not making any predictions, but I think they've got their eye on somebody who's currently in the Democratic primary and are grooming her to be the third-party candidate. She's the favorite of the Russians. They have a bunch of sites and bots and other ways of supporting her so far. And That's assuming Jill Stein will give it up, which she might not, because she's also a Russian asset.
So now we bring Jill Stein back into the equation. Oh my. Well, I'm sure Hillary still has a bitter spot for her, thinking that there were a lot of the Bernie bros, as people like to call them, hitting the microphone over here. I'm sure there were a lot of those people who either, if they didn't go for Trump or Gary Johnson, that went for Jill Stein, that she's still got a serious, bone to pick with. So, of course, she doesn't like Jill Stein. My. Well, I mean, it's to be expected. If Hillary Clinton has a problem with you, it's because you're a Russian or a Russian asset.
There is no question that Tulsi Gabbard, of all the 12, is a puppet for the Russian government.
Hillary's.
Even the lady sitting next to him had to go, wait, what? Here we go.
Been dead on with so many things. She told us about Russia. She told us about the probable interference during the debate. She was Secretary of State. She has deep knowledge about world issues. I thought, where's the lie?
The Russia propaganda.
Yes, Hillary Clinton is so genius. She told us that the Russians hacked her servers. The servers the FBI never got to look at. The servers they didn't get to do their own investigation on. No. They turn it over to a third party that is a DNC contractor. And so someone who the DNC does business with gets to investigate how DNC servers get hacked. So basically, if the DNC had anyone in mind for any reason possible that they could or wanted to blame this on, they're investigating themselves. So, of course, hey, guess what? We can blame it on them. Because the FBI is not going to be able to come behind us and check. Well, I don't know if they wouldn't be able, but if they were, they didn't do it. So, of course, yes, she warned us about Russia, yet she was basically bankrolling the DNC in 2016. They were in her pocket. They were rigging the elections. Oh, and of course, she warned us about the election interference, yet the one thing that I know for a fact happened in 2016 as far as the elections was concerned, as far as any tampering, whatever, was that the DNC was rigging it against one of the candidates running for president so that there would only be one standing tall at the end of the day. All the superdelegates fell behind her. They didn't fall behind Bernie. And she got debate questions ahead of time so she could prepare for them. I know about that election interference. And yes, Hillary Clinton's wonderful knowledge of foreign policy. That lovely knowledge of foreign policy that took us into Iraq, was part of overthrowing Gaddafi and destabilizing Libya. Anyone ever heard of Benghazi? Beautiful. We couldn't have anyone any better when it comes to foreign policy. Are you freaking kidding me? If you think that foreign policy is a strong suit for Hillary Clinton, it's because you've either been paid off to think that way or you really just ill-informed of the facts. I'm sorry, there's no other way to put it. Hillary Clinton is a disastrous, warmongering piece of crap. Period. I call her the witch for a reason.
The machine has been propelling her, lifting her up since she announced her candidacy. She never did.
Oh, and who was that? Who was that making the smear against Tulsi? Who was that saying Russia's pushing Tulsi? Blah, blah, blah. Adrian Elrod. Where have I heard that name before? You see, I used to have this job. And at this job, they always had Fox News on. And it seems to me that I remember someone named Adrian Elrod coming on as a Fox News contributor. Now, I can't exactly remember what was it that she was. There was some sort of a position that she had in 2016. By the way, for those of you who aren't figuring out, I'm Googling as we speak because I'm being very sarcastic about what she was. I know what she was. I'm just going to read it straight from the internet. Okay, so right here, straight from the Huffington Post, and I will let you read along if you can see it on your screen. Contributor Adrian Elrod, spokesperson Hillary for America. Adrian Elrod is a spokesperson for Hillary Clinton's 2016 campaign, Hillary for America. With over 16 years of government communications and campaign experience, Adrian Elrod is a seasoned strategist and government operative. Wow, that's some pretty interesting language. A government operative? Prior to joining Hillary Clinton's campaign, Adrian was the Vice President of Communications for American Bridge PAC, or Political Action Committee, and Communications Director for Correct the Record, a strategic research and rapid response effort that defends potential Democratic presidential candidates from right-wing baseless attacks. A group that defends potential Democratic presidential candidates from right-wing attacks? This doesn't seem to add up to me. I mean, why would you be part of a group that would defend potential Democratic presidential candidates from right-wing baseless attacks? I mean, I really don't think people really consider Hillary Clinton a true left-winger. Even she herself has said she's basically a corporate centrist. She just said a moderate and a centrist. I'm a moderate and an independent, but I'm not a corporatist moderate and independent. There are some things that the far left has dead right, and there are some things that farther on the right that I agree with. But I look for the things that are beneficial to the people, not the corporations. So, again, nonetheless, whatever aisle you want to consider Hillary Clinton on, how can you be defending presidential candidates, potential Democratic presidential candidates, yet you're going out now and accusing one who's actively serving in the military of basically being a treasonist? A Benedict Arnold to her own country. She's selling us out for Russia. That's what you're saying. Wow. Elrod previously served as Chief of Staff to California Congresswoman Loretta Sanchez, where she led the legislative and communications agenda for a senior California member of Congress. Prior to working for Representative Sanchez, Elrod served as a campaign aide to Hillary Clinton for President campaign, where she held a variety of positions including Regional Press Secretary, Texas Communications Director, and Deputy Director of the Congressional Delegate Selection Office. A native of Arkansas, Adrian started her career as a political appointee to President Bill Clinton's administration, serving as the executive assistant to the Assistant of the President for Intergovernmental Affairs and later a special assistant at the Department of Housing and Urban Development, where she worked under the leadership of Secretary Cuomo to develop and expand the Communities for Safer Guns Coalition. At the end of the administration, Elrod moved back to Arkansas, joining the Arkansas Democratic Party as its communications director during an active election cycle, which resulted in the election of Senator Mark Pryor. Now, let's just be clear for just a moment here. What we're talking about before we even move forward with the rest of these clips. This was on, what was it, MSNBC? You bring someone on talk about Tulsi Gabbard saying these things about Hillary Clinton. And of course, other news anchors try to come out and say, well, she can't be. There's no evidence that she's talking about Tulsi. But you bring someone on who then starts saying these things about Tulsi. Pretty much got her start getting appointed by Bill Clinton. Oh, and by the way, she's from Arkansas. Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton pretty much got their big start in Arkansas. When Clinton was running for president, he was Arkansas governor. Okay? So you have this lady who gets appointed by Bill Clinton, has worked with Hillary Clinton, was a spokesperson for Hillary Clinton, and an advisor to Hillary Clinton during the 2016 election cycle, and she's supposed to be giving us an unbiased, newsworthy opinion, right? About Tulsi Gabbard's, comments on Hillary Clinton. We're going to get some real unbiased, non-propaganda reporting from someone who, we'll be nice here and just say 60 to 70% of her political career, she's been tied to the frickin' Clintons. I would go a little higher than that, but I'll be nice. We'll just say 60 to 70% of it. And she probably owes her big break into this political world to the Clintons also. Yeah, that's... Who would expect bias from that? That, you know what? For anyone who says that she would give an honest, non-biased, non-propaganda, report or opinion on the news, that she would just set her bias aside and just talk about the facts and not be a Clinton puppet. Anyone who genuinely believes that are also the same people that believe that big money political donations to political campaigns don't influence what those politicians do when they get into office, that they're just handing them that money out of the kindness of their heart and expect nothing in return, and that the politicians give nothing in return. Probably the same people that would believe this, that Adrian's not being biased to Hillary Clinton here, are the same people who probably believe that about big money in politics. But we'll continue on now.
Not being a Russian accent. That was the one aspect that was missing from her response, which you think that would be the first, in the first line or two. It was not.
Now, this is the one thing, unfortunately, I think they actually landed on Tulsi. I think this may have been an armor-piercing round, and Tulsi may have fumbled just a little bit since this whole thing has come out. She has attacked what they've done. She has called Hillary and company out on what they've done and how despicable it is that you're coming after someone actively serving in our military for these things, seemingly only because you just don't agree with them. But she has not actually said the words no during a question, or are you a Russian asset? If there's a clip out there of it, unfortunately, I'm not able to find it now. Maybe that's just because, no one has uploaded. Maybe it's because YouTube or big media is trying to bury the clip. I don't know. But I have seen an interview with her and Tucker Carlson, as I referenced the other day, where Tucker asks her outright, and rather than just giving a yes or no answer, she goes on to explain, why it's happening, which I believe and agree with her on why it's happening. I do just wish she would have at least answered it, though, so somebody like myself could then take that clip and say, there you go. So unfortunately, that's going to be an attack that's probably going to stick, and I'm not glad about that, but it's just probably going to be the case. So that one may have landed, but all the rest of this stuff, come on. Now, I could just keep pulling clips of the bias here against Tulsi Gabbard. There's actually some more Project Veritas footage where it's been recorded that from a CNN insider that, pretty much the one they're out to get is definitely Tulsi Gabbard. Okay, so I could run that clip, but rather than that, I think just for time's sake, we'll wrap it up by taking a nice look at what her colleague running for president, Julian Castro, had to say about the issue. What did he say about this?
Do you agree with former Secretary of State Clinton that she could very well be a Russian asset?
I'm going to focus today on my campaign and what we're doing.
Just to confirm, you did not say no. You do not think that Tulsi Gabbard could be a Russian asset.
No, I'm going to leave others to comment on that. I have no comment.
At the very least, you think it was appropriate for Hillary Clinton to insert herself into the election in this way?
I have a lot of respect for Secretary Clinton, and I'll just leave it at that.
Well. Looks like someone doesn't have the guts to just speak their mind. I doubt he's afraid of Tulsi Gabbard. Well, then again, you look at how she can go after someone, maybe he is. But what sort of political power does Tulsi Gabbard really wield right now, except for maybe a grassroots movement? She's certainly not some insider who's going to pull strings behind the scenes to get you a nice job working in the government. No. But who does? Hillary Clinton. So, if you didn't just, if you're on board with Hillary Clinton and you believe it, why not come out and say so? Why not just come out and say, yeah, I agree with, Hillary Clinton. These things are very concerning, blah, blah, blah. Maybe because you think that there's a lot of people out there who would be very mad at you, could possibly hurt your candidacy. Maybe that's why. But if you believe it, say so. If that's what you really believe, say so. I'm going with the thought, though, that he doesn't believe it. But he doesn't want to say that because he doesn't want to make the almighty witch herself mad. He don't want to make Hillary mad because he's afraid Hillary, may not like him being in her inner circles later on. We have to keep the almighty witch happy. A lot of people say that Trump behind the scenes is like a child. Yet, we've heard plenty of stories about just how childish Hillary Clinton is behind the scenes. Call me a Russian asset for saying it. I don't really care. I'm not a Russian asset. I promise you right now, if the Russians are paying me to say this, they're doing a pretty piss poor job of it because I'm not exactly living the life over here in Spartanburg, South Carolina. But one thing that does surprise me is apparently Bernie Sanders over this issue finally took his balls out of Hillary Clinton's jar momentarily to say the following. And so his tweet read, Tulsi Gabbard has put her life on the line to defend this country. People can disagree on issues, but it is outrageous for anyone to suggest that Tulsi is a foreign asset. You can't really get much more blunt than that. So finally, Bernie has finally come out against the system that's been trying to screw Tulsi for quite a while now. He didn't really get out there and speak out about their cherry picking of polls, which kept her off the third debate stage. Obviously, my stance. I believe he completely cucked out to Hillary Clinton in 2016. But at least now, I think, and possibly because I think Bernie might really be pissed with Hillary because he cucked out to her to try to help her in 2016, and then when she still lost to Trump, she tried to blame Bernie for it. Bernie didn't have to endorse you, you witch. Nor did he have to get out and campaign for you. But he did, which was not a good thing in my book, but he did. His supporters, if he'd have said don't vote for you, none would have probably voted for you. Are you kidding me? If he'd have said go for Jill Stein, 90% of them would probably have gone for Jill Stein. I mean, Bernie was an independent, supposedly in the first place, so, But, either way, apparently this was the issue that finally made Bernie remove his balls out of the Hillary Clinton jar and put them back in his pants. So, we'll see if they stay there. I mean, who knows, but I'm certainly glad that at least he spoke up, while other people who were afraid of the evil witch herself, casting spells upon them and killing their political careers like Julian Castro, well, they just don't have enough to speak out and give their opinion. Again, I'm under the impression he doesn't believe it, but he's too scared of Mrs. Corrupt Clinton herself to just speak out and say, yeah, I don't believe it. So this just shows what I've been saying before, a couple of days ago, about this whole issue. The media is in the pocket of the corrupt, and particularly they are really, really fond of Hillary Clinton. And they will stand shoulder to shoulder with her and her Russia smear campaign almost 100% of the time. There are those few exceptions who at least spoke out on this, but, I mean, there were a few exceptions that said it was BS what they were saying about Trump. It's nothing but smear tactics. Smear tactics. Just think what you want about Trump. But again, we still didn't get any evidence that he was a Russian asset either. And the whole evidence that it was Russia who even hacked him in the first place, not saying Russians didn't do it, but a proper investigation was not done. You don't let a contractor of the DNC investigate the DNC server that gets hacked and not turn it over to the FBI, and yet have the FBI and all the intelligence community coming out saying, yeah, it was the Russians, We never investigated it, but it was the Russians. And, of course, keep that in mind. When they say that they know for a fact it was the Russians, there are ex-CIA, employees. One of them has been on Jimmy Dore's channel. His name eludes me at the moment, but he's had him on there a few times. And he's basically said, yeah, I've spent years there. Couldn't have been the Russians. It just doesn't add up. So, but you won't hear that from the mainstream media. They're going to keep pushing that narrative 100% of the time. And they're going to bring on all the pundits. Adrian Elrod, a Clinton operative and spokesperson going all the way back to Bill Clinton's presidency. They're going to bring on people like that to spread you the news. Thank you for tuning into this episode of the Independent Report. If you liked the video, please give us a thumbs up and like the video. Also, if you have any questions or comments that you'd like to ask or topics you'd like us to cover, please drop a comment in the comment box below. And also, please subscribe to the channel. And if you do subscribe, ring that bell so you'll stay up to date when we drop new videos and you'll get notifications of it. And also, please support us on Patreon. Funds are going to be used to grow and improve this channel so we can reach more and more people and spread the message that the mainstream media doesn't want to tell people. We hope you'll tune in next time.